Warning: the following episode was recorded months before the tragic death of Tyree Nichols. Due to the nature of today's discussion, we would like to apologize if this episode comes off insensitive to some. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Nichols family and others who have lost their lives due to police misconduct. Now, let's learn and begin to heal together. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Trail Show Podcast. I am your host, Calvin. Hey, we are having a great season. We have some phenomenal guests, and I am learning a lot on this journey towards the end of our podcast journey. It's been a phenomenal ride. We've had some great stories. We cried, we laughed, we got angry. We had some arguments with Christina. You know, she's not here right now, but she made my life a living. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we've had some impactful episodes, and I think that one thing about our podcast, a lot of people don't tune in because they already have an assumption what our show is about. Needless to say, they're very much wrong because what our show is that you would get a mix of everything from different races, different political views, stuff like that. But there's only one rule to our show, which we always say is you got to be straight up. And I think that's something that we always do. With our show, we always want to bring in conversations that want to be not only impactful, but it's a learning experience for other people because we all live in this world together. And I think that the more that we learn from each other, the more that we can learn to heal and accept each other. But so when you come to our show, we want you to learn. We want you to take away something from the episode and maybe that you can understand what people go through. I think one of our most controversial episodes is the one about OnlyFans, and you hear that word OnlyFans, and then you would think on the outside, "Oh, this show is sexual," but it really changed your mind about OnlyFans. And for those who didn't watch it, I encourage you to go to our podcast website, strepshowpodcast.com, and actually listen to the episode to learn about it, about what happened on the episode and the particular curveball with the episode. But today's episode is no different. And as you know, I'm an African American man. I am a proud Black man, and I come from but basically the streets, project kid, and it has not been the easiest growing up and becoming a man. Even though I'm still in my 30s, I'm still learning how to be a man. And uh, if you are in America or outside of America, you may perceive African American men a different way. One of our famous episodes, our global impact episode about when George Floyd was killed, we talked to foreigners about why they were protesting about George Floyd. And they admitted that they had a different perception of Black men in America, and it was totally false because they always see us as rappers or entertainers and stuff like that, but they don't know the true side of how some men are. So today's episode, we talked about in our previous episode about we had an advocate who really was going hard about for a woman. She was going hard for Black men to get more acceptance and more shoulders to lean on because sometimes it's not very, in most communities, it's not really welcome. So today we want to talk about that and kind of just talk about, hey, we are here as Black men, we are educated, and we're not a monolith. So we had this episode before called the Black Barbershop. And this is kind of like the same episode, but this is more personal because our guests today are, I like to call I don't have any brothers, so I call them my brothers. One is actually related to me. So today's guests, actually two of them are actually former guests of the show, and one is new to the show. So help me welcome today's guests, David, Robbie, and CJ. How you guys doing today?
What's up? Feeling good, feeling great. So.
Yeah, CJ, I'm pretty sure y'all have. I think CJ maybe is tied for the most appearances on our show. I think.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Getting there. I think Dr. Thompson has you beat. I'm not for sure, but I think CJ's tied. Could be.
I'm definitely in the top three. Somewhere
top three, top three.
No question.
And Dave's been on here before, but Robbie's new. But before we get started, let's kind of just tell us, who you are and everything like that. So first I'll start with Dave. Dave, how you doing?
All right, man. Okay. So my name is David. I'm coming from Louisiana. I'm guessing I know. So I've been a nurse for maybe the last like 10, 12 years or so, med surg and psych. Louisiana born and raised, country boy. Uh, just just here. I'm everything pro us. You know what I'm saying? I'm pro my people. I'm pro friends. I'm pro positivity. I'm pro. I'm pro getting it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's me.
And I want to highlight David's shirt. And one thing about David
Oh,
is he is a proud black father. What's your shirt say? What's it say, David? What's it say?
exactly. It says black fathers exist.
You better
Indeed.
represent, man.
Indeed. All day, every day. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today too. Is that black fathers do exist? And before we go any further with that, I want to introduce to you my cousin, Mr. Robbie. Robbie, what's up?
Man, what's up, Cutting Cow? Everything's been good on your end?
Yes, sir. And it's funny because like I met Robbie through CJ, and then we found out that you know what? Oh, wait a minute, we got the same blood. Wait a minute, like,
Right.
Who's the most random
The
fact
most-
we just found
That
out? What's your
was
last
so
name?
Carol, wait, you related to those Carol? Like, okay, all right, well, all we cousins. Like, so, man,
We all related somehow.
somehow, man,
Oh, yeah.
like, so Robbie's my
These
second,
roots run deep.
real deep, especially in Louisiana, man. Just DJ, can you play Clarence Carter stroking? No, I'm just kidding. So that's Nick Cannon's song. I'm sorry, my bad.
Man.
man.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do
Man.
it
Wow,
like
that's
that.
it. Oh,
Don't
wow.
do it like that.
That's Nick
Oh.
Cannon's song, man. But no, and so last but not least, the famous, the one and only Mr. Charles C.J. Johnson. Sir, how you doing today?
Don't do that, man. Don't do that, man. I'm feeling fantastic, man. Another day on the right side of the dirt. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm good. I'm good, man.
And not to make make Robbie or David feel bad, but CJ is like a fan favorite because when I get people talking about our shows, like, oh man, I love CJ. I'm glad that you got CJ's face on here because to see his reactions about the tournaments and like CJ, man, you have given our podcast so much energy, just all the smallest stuff. But man, so even though this is a wrap up to our season coming up, I want to say thank you, man, because you really have been a focal point on this podcast. Not just because of the entertainment you bring, but because of the knowledge as well. And as one of the reasons why I have these gentlemen in particular, because I don't really share my personal life or personal struggles with anybody, and anybody can tell you that, especially Dave. Like I'm very closed in. But these are three gentlemen that I really respect their opinion because even though they're like we're like brothers, we argue, you know, we cry and stuff like that. But I really respect their opinions about life itself, and I think that man, we traveled the man. We look, we need another road trip because we have not. I don't think you know what
We've been long overdue for
It's overdue.
San Antonio wasn't no. The last trip
Nah,
to
it wasn't.
Dallas
Yeah.
before the pandemic popped off.
Mhm.
That was our last trip. But if we want to talk about like road trip that we all traveled to, I think that was
That
San
was San
Antonio.
Antonio.
San Antonio. Yeah.
And I think it's maybe been like 3 years since we all been in the same room together.
It's been a minute.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
man,
about.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
like 3 years. Wow. Like, yeah. So,
Mhm.
but I've traveled the road with these guys and like just to have, even if not being black, just being a person in general, to have somebody that can talk to you on how do I put this? One guy told me an emotional mature person. There we go.
Yeah.
Emotional mature person. To have that in your life, I think that is one of the best qualities you can have with anybody that's a friend or family, and somebody that's emotionally mature with you. And I think with these gentlemen, I think that because I think highly of myself, but I think these gentlemen are just as high as well because they have given me knowledge and made me open my eyes up to stuff that I didn't think I would think about, like finances and the emotions and how to carry myself, especially with me getting hot headed because they know I can get hot headed. So, and so just stuff like but these guys, and it's all with love too. So I mean, before we get started, I want to say I love y'all, man. So thank y'all for being in my corner and helping me out through all the process in life.
And we love you too, homie.
Yeah,
No problem, bro.
Oh,
No
man.
problem.
Bro.
man. So like, so
It's all
before
love, man. It's all
I-
love.
I was gonna wait until to the end of the show to start this, but I'm gonna ask you. Let's do an icebreaker right quick.
Cool.
So, if for those who don't know, in the Black communities, Black American community, we always think about, okay, what kind of Black man am I going to be growing up? So I want to go around the table right quick because you got different kind of older Black men, and we respect our elders. But look, we're in our 30s. We about to hit that age pretty soon, so it's coming. It's coming. So I want to know, especially from Dave, right quick, what kind of Black man do you think you're going to be growing up? Are you going to be the tracksuit playing? Are you going to be the preacher wearing the slacks at the mall? What kind of Black man do you think you're going to be?
Man, I think I'm gonna be pretty much about where I am right now. I'm gonna be in my t-shirt, comfortable shorts, comfortable shorts, walking
Comfortable
around,
shorts.
Right.
walking around in my house shoes with socks, and that's
Gotta
it.
have them
Just
Crocs, baby.
kicking
Come
back,
on now.
relaxing, man. That's it. I've learned just with all the work that I've done from a younger age to getting older, I've gotten to that point where now like time has just gotten so important. You know what I'm saying? I like to take time to just relax, man. Take time to rest. And, life is gonna be busy. Problems gonna be there today. They'll be there tomorrow. They'll be there a week down the line. So when you get time to kick back and relax and chill, you make the most of it. So that's me.
All right,
Comfortable.
comfortable. Okay, CJ, what about you?
So for all of the audio listeners, right? Calvin alluded to the tracksuit uncle, and I'm currently wearing a tracksuit. So definitely styling wise, oh yeah, tracksuit all day, bro. Look, I can't even remember the last time I wore denim jeans. Like I like the feel of that polyester, that stretchy material, bro. Look, I mean, I can wear some jeans. I can, they're cool, but look, it's something about just the comfortableness of a tracksuit.
Bruh,
But
and I feel bad because, like, I always thought that was for big people. You know what I mean? CJ
no,
is
it's a comfort.
it's a
It's all about
comfortability.
comfortability, man. Yeah, like it has nothing to do with weight. It just has like it's just feeling wise. Like at least for me at this age, right? Like I can't just like lounge around in like a seat or a chair or something for longer than an hour or two or something if I'm in jeans, right? Like if I'm going out somewhere, obviously okay, I'll bite the bullet. But like if I'm at home just chilling, I can't do this in some Wranglers. I can't do this in some Levi's. Like no, I need that
Yeah.
stretchy material, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, you gotta have it. And you know what's crazy? It's not even about like just being in his suits, because look at Mark Zuckerberg. Like he'll go to his press conference wearing like a t-shirt. It's like he don't care, man. So I'm like, look, if he can make billions of dollars and still, man, come on now. It's the
Yeah.
way of the world. This
I
whole
mean, even if you look at how Jay-Z tends to dress these days, right? Like it's not that flashy.
Nah,
not anymore.
Yeah.
No.
I did a wedding. And I was like, man, I had some church shoes. I was like, man, no, this is horrible. Why does it hurt? Why do these church shoes hurt? Like, no, I'm good.
No, man.
So, Robbie, what kind of stylish older Black man do you think you're gonna be? What kind of style you gonna have?
man, as long as I ain't on no Spice Adams stuff with the shorts that's over my knees, because I don't put lotion on my kneecaps, so y'all can't be seeing that. As long as I ain't wearing no sandals. Nah, I'm just kidding. Like, man, I got a few uncles, man, that keep it all the way player, so I think I'll probably have that Silver Fox thing going, man. I think I'll be pretty fly whenever I get older.
And what's the silver fox?
He
What
will
kind of?
absolutely be dressed to the nines.
I
He'll
definitely see it.
find a random reason to wear a shirt with a vest on it. Like just yeah.
Yeah,
Beard gonna be white and crispy.
Yeah, I can
I'll
see
probably
that.
be bald by then, but you know what I'm saying? I'll still be fly.
Now
I can.
I did I want to add one more thing. So I mentioned to Rob all the time, I want to get that Reed Richards with the gray on the side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Give me that. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good to go,
Kind of
man.
looking like what's his name? Nick Fury. Get the Nick Fury going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original Nick
The
Fury for
original Nick Fury.
The
Yeah.
first one.
Not
the
the
youngest that
ball.
don't know.
not the ball head one. Nah, even though. Nah. I think I'll be like you, CJ. I'll track suits too, and but my thing is, I'm going to have me a Bluetooth. I'm gonna get me a Bluetooth, bro. I'm gonna be in the mall with a blue. Hey, Turner Earl, how you doing, Turner Earl? Like, yeah. That's gonna be me, bro. That's gonna be me.
Just don't do the one with that long microphone.
Oh no,
Looking like you with the CIA or something.
like you doing customer service.
Man,
Like
I'm about to dig on my dad right quick because my dad, like, I don't know what happened. Like, he's wearing Jordans. He's wearing like skinny jeans now. He's wearing like those City Trend shirts, like the with the Tasmanian Devil gold teeth, like in a snapback. Like, I'm like, man, what? Come on, Dad, what you doing, man? Like,
Now, that's one thing I can say about all of us is that I don't think any of us will be that type of elder that's trying to relive their younger days. I think we all will be comfortable in whatever phase of life that we're in.
I don't know,
because age gracefully.
That midlife crisis may hit all of us, man. Like, and I hope not. I hope not. I love
Please,
you.
bro.
We know what Cal was getting his dad for Christmas. Breaking out that fat Albert Fubu.
Get him the snapbacks, like I'm sorry, Pops, but man, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what you doing.
Get him a champion shirt. That's what he needs. That's what's popping these days.
Man, I got him
made a comeback.
Yeah, he has like 15 Facebooks and everything right now. So I mean,
dang.
Yeah, man.
Got the burner accounts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can't keep them off of him.
He can't remember his password. That's what it is. Like,
can't beat him off with a stick.
Oh man.
Probably shouldn't sit on this show, you know. Anyway,
man, quit throwing your dad out there like
that. But no, man. And you know what's crazy? We have an arena full of black men that we have very proud of, and like I said, we have fun. Even with my dad, man, we have fun. And I like to see that this is all about black positivity. These are the conversations that we have within the black man community. We're gonna talk more about like us as black men on the other side of the break. Make sure you stay tuned to Straight Up Show podcast.
Straight up, we know that all lives matter, but historical events have shown that there is an inverse power dynamic between the races in our country. To highlight this, we present our Black Lives Matter merchandise. Because let's be real, some of you don't seem to understand that this isn't the organization, but a message. That message: end inequality towards minorities in America. And just in case that's too complicated for you in English, we have the phrase translated into 10 different languages. Visit StraightUpShowPodcast.com for this and all our other merch. That's STR8 showpodcast.com. Shirts as low as $19.99.
I think straight up means to be able to speak in a way that is straight up, to be honest, and to speak your truth.
Raw, uncut, you know what I mean? It's blunt, you know, straight to the point. This is what it is.
It's just a place to be open and honest, and that's what I appreciate most about it. And it provides a place for community members to come together and just be straight up with each other about things that are going on in the world, because it affects all of us.
Unfiltered, raw, with all the cursing that Calvin does.
Straight up is just being real, telling it like it is, you know, being you.
Being solid, being who you are, no matter what it is, no matter what situation you're faced with, right? This is who you are. It really speaks to me, saying it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't, straight up.
Welcome back to the Straight Up Show podcast. I am your host, Calvin. Today I'm joined by my lovely brothers. I call them my brothers. One is my actual cousin. But we got Dave, CJ, and Robbie Rob making his debut on the Straight Up Show podcast. Once again, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. Great to be here.
And I think that with our group, with the four of us, like, we're so close because I think that, like, today's episode is to kind of give you an inside look of different kind of black men in America. Because, like I said, we talked about a previous episode to where foreigners kind of had the idea of us as people that are entertainers and rappers and like, you know, but we are all college educated. We all have great jobs, but this is stuff that you do not see on TV or it's not displayed. And I think that and it's crazy because in the current state of, I think, in my opinion, all this is, and today's episode is just our opinion. It's not fact or fiction. It's just how we feel and what we're going through as Black men. But I like, case in point, there is a TV show, or it was a TV show called Atlanta. It was on FX with Childish Gambino, and it was the perfect idea of Afro surrealism. Afro, is that right? Afro realism, is that right? I'm not for sure that's right now, but
We're
like,
gonna roll with it.
yeah,
We'll roll with it.
We're
Sound
but
right.
but like it's a show that kind of challenges Black Americans, and it shows the different, like, you know, ignorance and different like stereotypes, and it exposes them to kind of make us feel accountable. So, and a lot of people, like, even in the comment sections, I don't get it, I don't get it, I don't get it, and it's kind of like, you know, it makes me question where we are, not only as Black people, but Black men, but Black people in itself in America. And me and Dave talked about this. That I think that, and this may trigger some people, but, and I want to ask y'all how y'all feel about me saying this. I really think when it comes to the Black Americans, our biggest issue is that we've suffered from an identity crisis. Dave, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that on many different levels. And this, honestly, truth, I feel like that subject actually, it goes back to, we have to go back, way back. No, of course, slavery is always there. That's the first big thing that fingers always point to, is slavery. But from the time frame of us coming from, you know, the African diaspora, slavery, being here, post slavery, afterwards, the education system that's in place, programs, prison systems, all these things that are in place right now, your typical Black person can't trace back the generations beyond, you know, beyond maybe great grandfather. And because of that, there is no understanding. There's a lot of lack of understanding of who we actually are, and so that's an issue. And when you don't know who you are, then you really don't know what you can be, or you really don't know what your full potential is, and you're very easily swayed by what you see. And so for young men growing up in our communities, what do we see in the movies? What do we see, you know, in media? What do we see on television? What do we hear in our music? That becomes what we identify with, because there's no real history able to be taught from generation down. And we allow outside cultures to basically speak on and tell us who we are. Like, there once was a point in time where, you know, in recent time, where we were thinking, well, you know, we were the kings, we were the Egyptians, we were this, that, and the other. And outside people have come in and said, oh no, that wasn't y'all. So now there's a big issue going on, and they're like, well, if that's the case, and we weren't the Egyptians, we weren't the kings, then we must have been, you know, the slaves and the Hebrews. And then now there's an issue going on right now with that. Oh no, that's not who you are. So if we can't be this, or we can't be that, and if every time we find ways to try to build wealth and be something, we have outside forces that knock that down, or cancel that, then what are we supposed to be? And unfortunately, all that America tends to show us and our kids and our people is, we can be athletes, or we can be hoodlums, or we can be pretty much, you know, nothing, or we're at the lowest of something, or we're always under somebody else. That's what we always find ourselves, at a level of either servitude or nothing, and that's all that America seems to want us to be. So that's kind of my take on it, my thought on
And like I said, it goes beyond America, because when people were, I mean, like, I had a Ukrainian foreign exchange student, y'all know Julia, and so she said that in their history books, and like when they're learning American history, it stops at slavery. About when it comes to African Americans, it just stops at, oh my bad, it stops at Dr. King. That's it. That's it. So they don't talk about like the progression of Black people in America in their books overseas. And to be fair, that goes both ways too, because we learn about different countries and we think that, they have a different kind of way of life, and it's not true because and Americans can be as arrogant as anybody out there. Trust me, I know. But CJ, same question. Like, when it comes to most Black people in America, do you think that we suffer from an identity crisis?
Absolutely. And I mean, everything that Dave said, spot on. I'll take it a step further. Um, let's say you have, right, somebody that is absolute hustler, right? Like they know how to grind, they know how to get things done, right? If that person was to lose all the money that they had, do y'all think that person will be able to eventually get that money back?
Yeah.
If they had that hustle mindset, then yeah.
If
See
you
what
have
I'm
the hustle
saying?
mindset,
See what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he has
Yeah.
the hustle
They
mindset.
they got the hustle mindset, right? So regardless of whether that person lost their fortune, right? Given enough time, they'll be able to get right back to that same point, right? Because it was their skills, it was their hustle mentality that was able to get them to that point in the first place, right? Translating that to what's going on in the Black community, we don't have that mentality anymore. Because if we did, we would eventually get back to our quote unquote greatness, right? So, what do I mean by that? So, if you go back to, I want to say it was what, like roaring 20s, right? Like that was around the time where like Black culture was like really booming, right? Around Black Wall Street days, right? Tulsa, okay, right? We had this mindset, right? We had this mindset in the past, but what has happened is enough generations has passed that's been brainwashed or whatever word you want to use, right? To where we no longer have that same amount of hustle. Now it's no longer us going after what we naturally want to go after. Now it's we're going after what's being fed to us. And it's happened
Mm.
so many times that enough generation cycles have adopted this to where now this is the norm. Now what was happening in the 20s is no longer the norm. So yeah, like this is the dilemma that we're at. Like basically we have to create another hard reset of several generations that implements that mentality of okay, get up, grind, make it happen. And it's only until we get to that point to where we can start to see that natural change and that natural turnover. But until then, whew, it's tough out in these streets.
And it's scary because like something as simple as voting. And if you really think in the grand scheme of things, like how much, like, because I don't think people realize, like, Dr. King marched from Montgomery to, was it Salem or Montgomery? I forget about my bad. See, I'm a bad historian already.
It was
I think
it
it
was a
was
lot of miles.
a lot of miles. It was a lot of
It's a lot of
miles, but
miles.
but he ended up at the Capitol in Washington D.C. But all because they wanted equal rights, civil rights, and stuff like that. But you don't, unless somebody gets killed or we have to protest police brutality, you don't see us in the streets fighting for stuff anymore. And the kind of, especially our generation, like, and y'all keep hearing the story, but my grandma had cancer and she will walk to go vote, just to go vote, to cast her vote. And it's like we don't have that mentality. Like, all right, we're just kind of comfortable. So that's why I think that we suffer from a somewhat, especially right now, uh, an identity crisis. And I want to hear from Robbie. Robbie, what do you think?
I mean, that just goes in like what you're saying. Like we have all these woke characters and everything. They only show up whenever it's like something going on. But when we really need them, it's crickets. They're nowhere to be
Mm.
found. So
Mm.
And it's crazy because like when we did the barbershop episode last time, we had shout out to Dother, shout out to Dorsey, shout out to
The other CJ.
yeah, the other CJ, Dialmo, and these are guys professional who one's a cop, one's an actor, one's a preacher, one's a social media influencer, and I forgot somebody else too, actor, and me, I guess, but but like we were all positive Black men role models, and would you be surprised to hear that, especially after what Robbie just said? Like, do you know after that episode, our own people, were called us conservatives and sellouts and stuff like that? That's the criticism I got for the episode. It was a powerful episode, but we were criticized for saying that, well, y'all speaking out against black people, y'all are conservative, y'all sound like Uncle Tom.
Because we're going against the norm. And once again, that goes back into one of one of the tropes, or whatever you want to call it, right? That has been indoctrinated into our system, is you don't go against the groupthink, right? If you're saying,
Right.
like, it's to the point now to where you can't give constructive criticism, like literally information that will benefit you if you take it, right? That's considered hating. So yeah, man, it's just it's messed up.
And like, and Robbie, I want to hear from you right quick. Do you think, because and rest in peace, Takeoff, what happened with him was unfortunate, and one thing when I saw this happen, and like we know about black music, we know about the music and how it displays, like it can be reality and stuff like that, especially when it comes to black on black crime. But what kind of stuck in my mind after hearing Takeoff got killed. And for those who don't know, Takeoff was rapping Amigos. He was killed at a bowling alley on Halloween night. He got struck by a stray bullet after an argument happened. And after the argument happened, they started pushing and shoving, and a gun was there, and they started shooting at each other. Takeoff was an innocent bystander, and he got killed. And his death sparked, sound wave or shock waves throughout not only the black community but the world too, where they had his funeral at one of the biggest arenas in Atlanta. But after he died, you got different rappers making tribute songs to him. But what stuck out to me was seeing rapper Designer. I don't know if y'all saw what happened, but he was on Instagram Live crying, rightfully so. But he's saying, "I'm giving up rap. I'm giving up rap. It's not worth this anymore." And I want to hear from Robbie. Do you think that even with Takeoff's death, do you think that people are seeing like, okay, now this is art, but it's slowly become a reality? This is too much reality.
Well, as far as like the giving up rap thing, like I don't really think that had anything to do with anything. It was more so of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, I think with him, he was just saying like he gives a rap because like what comes with the rap, like what comes with the guns and all that stuff like that. Do you think that like
Well,
just
once again, like I said, that just goes to being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like I think his net worth was what, 25 mil?
could be, yeah.
So like why are you like in the corner playing dice with low level guys when it's already said, like most low level people are gonna hate on you because of your success. So I
CJ?
don't know.
That's a strong point.
Yeah,
Strong
man.
point.
Yeah, he ain't
Strong
lying,
point.
man. Me personally, I'm gonna just be honest. I don't think this is gonna change anything. I think that this is gonna be one of the, like, in the moment it hurts, right? In the moment it makes you look, man, maybe this music is going too far, maybe talking about, all this gunplay and stuff in these songs is too much, right? But we were saying the same thing when Nipsey happened,
Mm.
right? Saying the same
Mm.
thing when PNB Rock happened, right? And we right back here. Nothing's changed. I mean, dude, like,
But correct me if I'm wrong, Migos doesn't really rap about gunplay or anything though, do they?
Oh, they do.
Like they mostly rap
They have
about
a song
They
called
do a little
Bando.
bit.
Yeah, they got a song
They do?
called
They do a
Bando.
little
Yeah.
bit.
Song
like,
They do a little bit.
because
just
I'm not
over.
gonna sit here and hold you, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not real familiar with it,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
but you know,
And see,
They
I
got,
thought they were more of your party type
no,
rappers,
they got a
like
B side.
fun
Yeah.
rappers.
They got a B
Yeah,
side.
that's a B side. That's a B
but see,
side.
that goes back to
Okay.
what Calvin was saying, is like, this is what comes with the lifestyle. Like, the ones that get put on that high mainstream pedal in hip hop, they're mainly talking about gunplay. They're mainly talking about drug use, right? And it's like stuff that's not going to push our culture forward, right? So it's like, yeah, you can join, this level of prestige of fame, but you got to do it at the cost of this, of X, Y,
Mm-hmm.
and Z. So it's like, he's basically saying like, is it worth it anymore? No amount of money is worth the amount of stress I got to go through of having to look, over my back, over my shoulder, whatnot. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I mean, you gotta understand, you can't put a price on yourself, like for your values.
Mhm.
Right. So unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at and where we're finding ourselves. And it's been working in this direction for a long time. And the way I see it is, older folks always say, stuff like basically what what one generation allows, the other generation will accept, or the next generation will accept, or they'll embrace. And basically, what really happened with this was there was a point where the music changed. It became a lot more about the drugs, the guns, now mind you, it's always been there. You know what I'm saying? Even if you go back to early, 1980, early 1990, with all of them, you know what I'm saying? The Airbnbs and the Rakims and all of that. There was music. They talked about, there was party at the same time. There was a fighter breakout, and it was like a step to me. But it got to a point where things just got too dark. And not only that, but once again, those who are in control or who are over the industry, they've put a push. You have to realize like what kind of money goes into being on the radio play, and this, that, and the other. Companies put money to push the agenda of what we're seeing. It makes no sense because when you look at our other genres and our other counterparts, they're not they don't have to do the same things that we have to do to find fame or to get money or to get paid. No other culture besides the so-called hip hop culture does a woman have to degrade herself and twerk in order to make it in the industry? Or does the conversation have to be about drugs and guns and shooting and killing and this, that, and the other? But the money that the companies are spending to push this amongst us for our people, our children, our kids, versus other industries. If you're looking at country music, the women in the country music scene, they keep their clothes on. They don't have to walk around naked. It's not even a thing. They can sing their songs about what they want to sing about, and they're fine. The pop, they can sing about what they want to sing about, and it's fine. The rock and roll can mostly sing about what they want to sing about, and it's fine. Even with your heavy metal and stuff like that, they talk about drugs and things like this in heavy metal all the time. You don't see them going around killing each other,
Yep.
and they're able
And
to make money, and it's just fine. Why is it only with hip hop? Why is it only with our culture? Do we have to degrade our women and they got to be naked and they got to be B's and H's and all this type of stuff? Everybody got to be a drug dealer. Everything is about hate, opposition, and killing, and this, that, and other. And it's only with us, and that gets praised and that gets pushed. You
and
have a lot of rappers who have a higher level conversation in their rap songs, but they don't even get radio play unless they slip it into something. They have to sit there and basically put the medicine in the candy in order to slip in a couple of positive words or something influential. They got to hit you with a little bit of dark stuff too in order to get by, or they're not getting played at all.
And that don't happen if you ain't mainstream.
yep, and that's
It's only a
crazy.
few.
Yep, and that's crazy because like that was my next point, David. You took it right out of my mouth. That was like, I was like, because you don't hear about the Kendricks and you don't hear about the J. Cole's as much. I'm not saying that like you hear about them, but they're mainstream. But we all know what happened to Lupe. Like just got too woke and then they try to shut him down and stuff like that. But then I transitioned to this because I'm not making this whole episode about music, but and I don't know about y'all, but I often think about where did we go wrong? Like, because from the history, from what I learned in history, is that we had the Huey P. Newtons, we had the Fred Hamptons and stuff like that, that was fighting for rights, and then I think when all that happened, that's when we started seeing the tide turn to where you had the because the Bloods and the Crips came from the Black Panther Party because you had the Community Resistance and Progress, which is the Crips and the Bloods. And a lot of people know that. Like a lot of people don't know that the Crips and the Bloods started off as part of the Black Panther Party. If you came to the community in the Black Panther Party and they ask you, "Hey, where's such and such?" "Well, that's my blood. That's my blood." "Who is that?" "He's my blood. He's my blood." But with the Crips, it was the Community of Resistance and Progress. They had different, like the Black Panther Party had different schools. They had different, luncheons. They fed the community. But and we all know, and this is probably the most embarrassing thing I say in my whole life. I didn't know about Black Wall Street until 3 years ago.
Hey, better late than never.
But that's
But you be surprised. A lot of people didn't know about Black Wall Street until maybe about a year or two ago.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that like so and it's not that, and to keep in mind, this episode is not about anti-white. And I think that even with everything going on with the whole Kyrie and stuff like that, we're not anti-white at all. So if you come in and you listen right now, we're not anti-white. As stated before, we're just a community looking for our identity. And within part of our identity, we keep killing each other. And it's like at this point in time, like, who are we? Are we just people that kill each other? We hate each other, like we hate the color of our skin. Like it's crazy because I even go on dating apps sometimes, and one of the qualifications is no blacks. I'm like, dang, we hate it that much? Like you just come out no blacks, but you're not racist though.
Are those dating apps, Calvin?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like those are dating apps. Yes. Yeah.
Holy in these streets.
But like you would see, like, I don't talk to black guys. Like, for
Right.
what reason? Like, are we all thugs? Like are we all gangsters? Like, it was like,
No, they might think that.
that's what I'm saying.
It's sad to say that.
That's the perception. Like, and even like we had me and Brandon, our co-host, we had an argument about this, and Brandon has his own thoughts and stuff like that. He can be however he is, but Brandon got a brand new car, and this is a story that y'all probably can relate to. But during this time, there's a neighborhood in our hometown called Broadmoor, and they were doing some community policing. They were just stopping anybody that didn't look like them that lived in Broadmoor. And of course, me and Brandon worked in a news station, so we were hearing the story about it. Brandon bought a brand new car. It's cold outside, whatever. Brand new spanking car off the lot, shiny, brand new. And me and Brandon worked night shift, so we get off at midnight, or I think midnight, yeah, whatever. So, but Brandon would drive his brand new car around the neighborhood where we were located at, wear his hoodie on. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? And of course, Brandon, I'm gonna do what I want. And I guess he didn't care, but to me, I was worried for him. You know what I mean? And we talked to a psychiatrist about this, but she was like, well, Brandon had every right. It's you that's scared. And I'm like, no, it's not that I'm scared. I'm just being like, cautious. Like, so what do y'all think about that kind of scenario?
I think Rob said it perfect, like similar to the Takeoff situation. Like, as far as like, I get the concern with the hoodie, right? Like, for us as a culture, right? Trayvon, instant connection to that, right? But it's a case of wrong place, wrong time, right? It's like literally if I just wear a hoodie, right, then okay, there's a possibility something might happen. There's a possibility it not, right? And I think that might have been what the psychiatrist was probably alluding to you, is that, hey, you can be concerned, right? But at the end of the day, things can go wrong even without the hoodie. If a cop is going to pull Brandon over, a cop's going to pull him over, and whatever can happen, can happen. I'll give a quick story of mine. So with my job, I travel a lot, right? So this one particular day, I was coming from Natchitoches, okay? And I was headed back to town. All right. Now y'all know, unless y'all go down I-49, you got to take a back road,
Yeah,
right?
because
Okay. So
Greenwood.
exactly, right? So the way
Mhm.
I was, routed for that day, I had to go to Kashada, so I only could take a back road from where I was going, right?
Mm.
So I kid you not, right? I was going down this country road, and there was a cop that was going around in a circle, like literally in the middle of the road. This is a 2-lane road, and he was going around in a circle. Okay, all right. So I'm going speed limit, right? I'm good, right? I keep going forward, and then once I pass him, he gets right behind me without not even a minute passed, flashes lights, pulls me over. Right? Okay. He comes up to me. Once he finally comes up to the to the window, then he says, "Oh, I thought your tags was out of date." Cause like like in Louisiana, the heat's so bad that like those your stickers start to
Feeling out.
peel off. So I had a bunch of duct tape on it, but you could still see the numbers clearly. But yeah, but that's what he said. Oh, I thought your tags was out of date.
Mm-mm.
Okay, have a good day, sir. See what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I didn't have a single hoodie on, right? Like I had my uniform on. I had my work uniform, right? So literally, this is something that can happen in any scenario, unfortunately, right? I think it's just once again that hoodie takes us back to a particular event that sticks in all of our heads, right?
Mhm.
So yeah,
But
but the reality is, man, like it's
and this is a point that a lot of people don't understand about, and this could be maybe it may. And CJ, I see what you're saying because a lot of this stuff does come from fear of a particular incident. But one thing that's not particular is that there is, especially why the not the group, but the message of Black Lives Matter.
Mhm.
Be very specific on that right now because a lot of
Please.
y'all,
Not the
y'all cover me.
organization.
Not the
Not the organization,
organization.
people.
Okay.
The message of Black Lives Matter.
The message.
The message is because you have these incidents like with the George Floyds, you have the Sandra Bland's, and you have the Micah Fergusons, and so like it's not even like being, especially coming from Louisiana, we know about hey boy,
Wait.
like so it's like we as Black men, and Black women too, because we're Sandra Bland, but like it's like we are walking targets. It feels like whether it's from our own community or somebody that's had a bad day. I'm not gonna put cops in the bubble, but like because we and even right now, rest in peace to Shaquilla Robinson. Like what's going on with that? And it's just I feel like we are expendable. You know what I mean? Like we can just, and I hate that, and that's kind of and doesn't mean I give up on my race, but it feels like man, like we don't have a fighting chance sometimes.
I'm gonna say
Mm.
this. I'm gonna say this. We we have to learn as a culture to bite back. The reason why events like this keep happening as frequently as they happen is because the oppressors that are doing this don't fear the ramifications of their actions. For instance, right? What's the old adage? What don't take food or don't take food from a dog or something or whatever. Y'all know what I'm getting at,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Gotcha. Yeah.
exactly. You don't want to put your hand out while a dog is eating, cause why? He's gonna
You
bite the
might
hell
get
out
hit.
of you.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's like if these oppressors, if these bad apples, right? If they knew that as a culture, because one or two individuals ain't gonna be enough. If they knew they could get quote unquote canceled as a result of their actions instantly, then they'll be less liable to do this. Now, is this gonna stop it outright? Of course not, right? But it will be more preventative.
Well, I mean, some things have to change within your legal system as well.
Mm.
and
Mm.
Like,
that goes
There we
back
government
go.
to
should
Mm.
fight back, but I mean, there's something bigger than us as well.
I mean, like, elaborate a little bit more on
Like you're saying, like if we bite back, that's supposed to change everything. But doesn't this have to go to something higher, like courts and stuff like that? If you're letting like the people who are doing this to us get away with it, like in court, then what are they to fear?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we have power players. Like, let's not skirt past the fact that we have power players in the culture. Now the question is, are we all utilizing our resources together? See, the issue is we're not working as a unit. That's the issue, right?
Facts.
Because I guarantee you this. Think about the amount of power LeBron has by himself. Just by himself. He's a billionaire, right?
Mhm.
A billionaire. That's resource. And that's not even counting his social resources, right? But that's just one example of a power player, right? That can make a lot shake just by himself, right?
If he chose to, though, let's be
See,
specific.
that's what I'm saying.
Is
The
if he
key word
chose
is
to.
as a culture.
Yeah.
Like, this has to be a unit thing. Like, look, I mean, regardless of how each of us feels about the Kyrie situation, the reason why that's going down is because that culture as a whole chose, hey, you ain't finna say this about you ain't finna say this. We finna shut you down.
And we're gonna talk more, and we're gonna actually address this Kyrie situation. I want to get the guys' take on this whole Kyrie situation, and it may not cancel us, but we're gonna talk about it on the other side of the break. Make sure you stay tuned to the Straight Up Show podcast.
Votación es un derecho, un privilegio y una responsabilidad. Muchos han hecho el máximo sacrificio solo para que podamos tener la capacidad de votar sobre lo que creemos que es mejor para nosotros y nuestra comunidad. Así que aquí en Straight Up te pedimos que investigues, deja que tu voz sea escuchado y que estés orgulloso de decir I straight up votó.
Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Straight Up Show podcast. I am your host, Calvin.
And it provides a place for community members to come together and just be straight up with each other.
There's only one rule to our show. You gotta be
everybody out there, I'm Sultan Salahuddin from Southside. Season 3 is out right now on HBO Max. Make sure you tune in, and make sure you tune into the Straight Up Podcast Show whenever you are online. Peace.
All right, welcome back to the Straight Up Show podcast. I'm your host, Calvin. Joined today by my co-host, or not my co-host, my guest.
We your co-host for the day.
It's okay.
Let's go.
We got Robbie, David, and CJ. How you guys doing? Thank you once again for coming on the show today. Like I said, just we want to talk about just us as Black men and give you our thoughts as Black men. Now, some of y'all listening right now, you might have checked out by now, but I think that with this episode, we want to steer the fact that we are here, we do exist, and we are important. And sometimes when it's in this world, you don't care that we exist. And it goes on both sides, men, women, black, white. You act like we don't exist, but we're here. And when it comes to saying aggressive stuff like that, like, we're not being aggressive. We have a voice too. And then whether it's relationships, hey, well, you can't complain about how I'm treating you. No, we can't. Because even though we're Black men, we have feelings too. And we're gonna talk about that. But for right now, what's been going on in the media right now, as the day of this recording, Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, they have been doing a lot of talking in the media. Now, if you've been on a rock, know about Kyrie Irving. He said some. He didn't say anything really. He just posted a tweet of a movie he saw that he says is an anti-Semitic movie called with Jewish slave ships. The name of the movie was called Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. And the synopsis of this book, it was a book turned to a movie. The synopsis of this is the book Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. It touches on subjects too controversial for most authors to read, to reveal to people, but this book will expose the truths that have been hidden by the powers that been in America since the European Arab slave traders stepped foot into Africa. Blacks have been told lies about their heritage. This is something. Sorry, my bad. I'm reading this verbatim. This was all by the author said this was all by Satan's design for the fathers of lies. This is a stereotypical expression to say if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. Wow. So Kyrie reposted this and tweeted this on social media to where he just retweeted it. He didn't have any captions to it. He just put that on there. So people took offense to it. They said that his actions were anti-Semitic and that it hurt the Jewish community. Now, I don't really care about politics as much as people think I do. I really don't. I have an episode called "Shut Up and Dribble." And I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Just go listen to it. But it talks about how basketball players and athletes should just shut up and dribble. But I was saying that they should have a platform. They should use it to the best way they can. Kyrie has over 10 million followers on social media, to where they may think a certain way about this, without having an explanation about what the movie was about. Working in media, I know how things can be twisted. And so the media had a storm about Kyrie saying some anti-Semitic stuff, which he defended himself saying that he was not saying anti-Semitic stuff, but the media turned out that he hates Jews and stuff like that. So he got suspended, and at this point, he's due to go back to the team, but they have given him some classes to take. He donated money, which the Jewish community denied the money to donation. So, but he has got basically blacklisted in the NBA so far and the media. But I want to get the gentleman's take on this whole Kyrie situation, about what he posted and your thoughts about that.
So first off, and this is something that we actually spoke about on another podcast that I'm on her word a couple weeks ago. This is something that I'm saying we're terming the term that I like to use for this is called media lynching. So if you were to go back to slave day and early post-slavery, whenever it was thought or it was felt that a black man or even a black woman got too far out of line during that time frame, what the whites in that community would do is they would basically make an example out of that person. This person is getting too over the line. And so what they would do is they would literally make a public spectacle out of that person. And they made sure that they did it in front of that person's whole community. So basically, you can see this as an example. When they hung him from those trees, you can see this as an example that this is what's going to happen to you if you step out of line. This is what's going to happen to you if you try to bring these ideas. And the thought behind that was, by me teaching you this lesson and by you seeing that this is going to happen to you, you should know to keep your mouth silent or not say anything or don't do what this person did or you'll end up like them. There were similar tactics like this throughout slavery time where they used the term buck breaking, where basically if they would take the stronger male or the warrior males of the group and they would literally tie them up and beat them, rape them in some cases, maim them, cut off their testicles, all type of things. And they would do it in front of their family, their kids, and the community to show them that basically they did this to demasculinate that man and basically to take the strength or the power from the group. So now you fall in line. Now, thanks to social media, versus this having to be done on an instant by instant, you can now do this one time and the whole world can see it. Millions can see it. And that's one of the reasons why, with an attack to a Kanye, or with the attack that goes to Kyrie, or with the attack that goes to this, Nick Cannon had to go through something similar. When they do these things to these people and they put it on this social platform like this, it's done in a way and in a manner to embarrass them and to basically show the world or all of us and other celebrities that may have the money or that may have the influence, that if you say the wrong thing, we can take your money, we can take your business, we can take your livelihood, we can take the future money you're going to make. We can pretty much do anything. And honestly and truthfully, for some of our other leaders in the past, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, things of that nature, they literally killed them. Period. It was done to show that if you step outside the line, basically we cannot let this be. Simply put, we can't let these Negroes get out of line. And if they did it, they did this to show that you better get back in line. So this is what's happening. And unfortunately for Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, they don't want him to stand out as a leader because they know that he has a strong following. So therefore they had to do what they had to do to try to shut him down ahead of time. The good thing about him is that he's educated. No, he has gone and he has read. It's very true. It's been said for decades and generations that if you want to hide something from black men, put it in the book. And that's very, very true. Instead of us going, and before I get in too deep on this, we black people, hello, white America, everybody else, Asian, Jewish, Hindu, whatever y'all are, hello, how you doing? I'm David, smile. Okay, so when we talk about our search for our identity, and when we talk about learning our history, and when we talk about trying to make something out of ourselves, and when we talk about having black pride, and when we talk about Black Lives Matter, not the organization, but just the thought and the think of it, we are not saying that we hate any of you. We are just saying that we want love for ourselves. We are just saying that we want acceptance for ourselves. We are just saying that we want better for ourselves. The fact of the matter is, it's been generations now, and they say it's just slavery, it's just slavery. No, it's not just slavery. It's things that have happened after slavery. But from the time of slavery up to now, we are born and raised and taught by media, by schools, by the laws that have been legally set in place for generations and decades. We have been taught that basically in this country we are nothing. We have been taught that in this country we're not accepted. And it's not just in this country, because when an African American goes to other countries, we also get treated the same way by them. We are treated as though we are not important. We are treated as though our money is no good. We are treated as though we do not belong. And all we want to do is say, hey, we belong. Now, about 80% of us, not all, because some were already here. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But a greater percentage of us who are here didn't plan to be here in the first place. See, that's the difference. You got immigrants from the Irish and from Mexico and from everywhere else. They came here. They hopped on ships and planes and whatever they did, and they come here. A lot of our people were taken, forced to come here, made to come here, starved to come here, crammed in ships to come here, beaten to come here, killed to come here. Then bring us here. This whole country was built mainly on the backs of blacks and slaves. Other indentured servants followed, like the Indians. but mainly on our backs. Then they came in and they totally destroyed our family construct by separating families, by mating. You know what I'm saying? You find a good, strong, buck, and you use them to make women, and then you ship them down the road, or you take the children and sell them somewhere else, or the families are pushed somewhere else. So now you have generations and generations of people who now they've grown up and they cannot find their history, so there is no family. And that continues not just through slavery. So people are like, well, it ain't just slavery. If you get over slavery, you weren't there. You may say that we were not there, but we still have grandparents who are alive that caught the end of that. So we still do have some family that went through slavery.
And we still feel their pain too. Like
we still feel that. Exactly. It's been scientifically proven that the stress and the strain and the troubles and the traumas that have gone on have followed through generations. Now, this is totally accepted, and this is totally accepted when we talk about our Jewish brother, because they went through the Holocaust. And I'm going to say this Holocaust was a real thing. So I'm not going to sit and say that Holocaust did not happen. It definitely happened.
Real.
It's a real thing. It's a part of history. It happened to them. There's no way that we can go neglect this. So before we do that, I'm not going to neglect that. But what I am going to say is, if we can accept the fact that they went through the Holocaust, and it's been scientifically proven that their great grandchildren still have suffering, and there's changes in their DNA and their traits from what their great grandparents went through, and they weren't there, then everything that we've gone through is the same. It affects our mindset. It affects a lot of the issues that we have, a lot of the disgruntlement. So let's look at it this way. First, you break up the families during the slavery time. So you have kids who are growing up without families. You have kids who are growing up without a man there to teach them right. You have women that are growing up or having to come up and raise families on their own. So now you have this single mother complex that's going on as well, and disdain for men. Then after slavery, you have all these government programs that have been in place for the longest that basically tell the woman that the government will give you money to take care of your rent, and we'll give you food as long as you don't bring a man into the house.
Incentivizing them.
You incentivize keeping the family apart, and that man's not there to raise those children. Then you have a war on drugs, which, mind you, ain't no man sitting up here mixing up chemicals to make some cocaine or to make some this, that, and the other. They got dropped in our neighborhoods. We didn't make it. All we want to do is maybe chop up some weed. We ain't messing with heroin and this, that, and the other. Somebody else dropped this into our neighborhoods. Then you want to have a war on those drugs, which locks up a large percentage of Black men in our communities. So once again, these children don't have the males that they need. These families are once again being broken up. Then the movies, the media, the music, everything that you see that's being promoted, and once again, millions to billions of dollars get pumped in from the industry, from people who are over these companies today, to push and support music about, I'm going to kill my brother, I'm going to shoot you, you're the opposition, this, that, and the other. And the fact of the matter is, brother, that brother ain't your opposition. That brother is another, somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's cousin, somebody's auntie, somebody's uncle. And when it's all said and done, when you twist it around, we all some kind of kin somewhere along the line.
And as noted with me and Robbie, like, just case in point.
Case in point. But that's what's pushed. So you have all these different levels. Go ahead, Calvin. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay. So you have all these different levels or all these different ranges, year after year, decade after decade, century after century. But they want to look at us like, well, what's your problem? Hell, this is our problem. But we don't have a right to have an issue. We don't have a right to be all confused and messed up and angry. And this is our problem.
And that's where they get that term, like, angry Black man, like, just, oh, he's angry. I'm like, it's not that we're angry, is that, like, if a baby, and this is probably a bad analogy, but, like, if a newborn baby is crying, you know they want something. and you give them a bottle, they're still crying. Or eventually, you find out they're sleepy. So it's like with us, we're screaming to y'all. We're screaming. We're screaming, hey, we matter. We're here. Like, give us attention. But it's like, you're just neglecting us. And I wanted, before we kind of end this part one of this episode, I want to hear from CJ and Robbie. Start with Robbie.
Take on it is he's being penalized for his craft. Like, if he wasn't a famous basketball player, would we be making this big of a deal out of it?
We wouldn't. No.
We wouldn't be making that big of a deal about it.
All right. Matter of fact, let me go with it like this. All right. So to go back to the Tulsa bombing. Tulsa, what made Black Wall Street so dangerous? It was the fact that we owned it all. There was literally nothing legally you could do to stop that. So the end result was, okay, well, we got to blow it up. Okay? The opposite is happening with Kyrie. Because even though, he's a talented young man, right? And, he's gone over the years, right? Building his career. It's under the umbrella of the NBA, which we don't own. Right? Like, that's the sad reality of this situation, is that ultimately, like, the leaders, right? The owners of that organization, he's an employee of that organization, which means whether you agree with it or not, you gotta tap dance or you have to abide by whatever laws and bylaws that they inscribe. So I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but that just goes back to the importance of ownership in our culture. Like, we're talking about solutions, right? It's ownership, man. Like, we got to get to the point to where we're not so dependent on other cultures or outside forces. Let's just say that, right? Of outside forces to get to these points where we need to be. Like, we just talked about the hip hop situation in the last segment, right? It's like, okay, you mean to tell me the only route to become a mainstream or a successful artist is you have to go through these few major record labels?
Yeah. What did Charles Barkley say? He was like, I can't give you $35 million and you're going to insult me. You can't, your boss can't pay you $35 million and
to insult. Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, and that's what I'm getting for anybody that might be upset about, Shaq and Barkley and them, right? Like, understand that, bruh, like, the reality is they are under somebody else's ownership.
So they got to play the game.
You got to play the game. Once again, you don't have to agree with that concept at all, right? But you do have to understand that that's the situation. And it's not until we put ourselves in positions to where, okay, we own this platform. So now you can say it. You own Straight Up. So you can say what you want to say, right? So that's what we got to do, man. I hate it for Kyrie that this had to happen, But once again, Dave, you said it perfectly, bro. Like, this is that example of, hey, we want you here. So when you get above where we want you to be, we're going to make an example out of not just you, but anybody else that thinks they want to try and disrupt the system.
And this sounds, I don't know how people look at this. Like, I really have hood heroes. And like, I'm educated twice over. Like, but I still have hood heroes. And a lot of people may frown upon it or even laugh at that. But to me, Master P is a success story to me. Like, Master P, and you don't hear about Master P going through conflict. And
absolutely,
even in the rap game, like, there was a story about Master P and Suge Knight. He was like, if you come to California, one of us gotta leave. And he was like, Master P said, when you packing? You know, like, because you weren't gonna be into the drug game. You weren't gonna be in like. So Master P is one of my biggest heroes because, like, doesn't matter if it's a bad idea, he's gonna keep trying. Like, and he keeps giving back to his community. Like, you know, so like even with the story about Snoop Dogg, if you hear about Snoop Dogg's story, like Snoop Dogg had no money, you know, and Master P said, like, you my brother. I know I don't care about the West Coast, East Coast beef. Like, you need a job, I got you. You talented. And so, and Snoop would tell you, you know, but like Master P, think about all the stuff he has, like the merchandise, the rap snacks and all that stuff. Like, he's constantly trying to like be his own person. And guess what? Master P is worth a lot of money. And you don't hear about Master P a lot, but he's in the background making business deals. Another one, Chamillionaire. We know about him.
Better talk about it.
But like these are once again Black men that you don't hear about on TV and stuff like that, but they're in the community in the background making millions of dollars the right way because they are their own entrepreneur. And like these are icons that I look up to that you might look at. And I think that we need more how can I put it? We need more publicity of these men. Like, because what Master P does, it blows my mind because that same mentality is going to other rappers like Boosie, you know, and people like that. Like, in case of point, Master P, once again, like he knew that he cannot live in Louisiana making all that money and knowing that there are people that he makes more money than that has a different skin color than he is. So the smart thing was to get around other people who made more money than the same kind of money he did, so that he wasn't a threat to them. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of mentality. We have to move differently as Black men. Like, we have to realize that we are valuable, that our talents can get us way. But like CJ said, or Robbie said, you got to play the game. You have to play the game, and it sucks, but you have to. And we're gonna wrap this episode up right now. We're gonna have a part 2 of it because this can't be just a 1 hour thing. We have more to talk about, and this is our last season of this podcast. So I want to make sure that we get this conversation, because this is a conversation I've been wanting to have with these gentlemen specifically these gentlemen for a long time. Make sure you catch up on the barbershop episode. Go to our website, straightuppsugapodcast.com. That's STR number 8 upshowpodcast.com. You can see our previous episodes about different topics just like this. You can look at our merchandise. Also, if you want to support our podcast, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Podcast318. That's patreon.com/Podcast318. Until then, there's only one rule to our show. You gotta be
straight up.
Straight up.